So Matter is a microplastic technology company. So we focus on the capture, the harvesting and the recycling of microplastic. We've been around since about 2018 and currently we're about 15 people at the minute. The circular economy really was the foundation of the company. When I founded the business, I founded it on cradle to cradle principles. It's something I'm really passionate about. It's in my eyes the foundation of what is the modern circular economy now. Matter as a business is I always see it as the hard line between the biological cycle and the technical cycle, stopping the leaching of material coming from what we make, leaching into the environment, and then trying to do something with it. So it's redirecting it back into use, but also adding value from what we currently see as waste. I think our journey into the circular economy, I suppose it's been part of our inception. So it's always been part of the goal of what we achieve. I think there's a lot of theory with circular economy and there's not a lot of action. And one of the real key parts of us and our business was about coming away from theoretical models and turning that into reality. So the great thing about being a startup is you get to break things all the time. And I think that our journey into circular economy has been really focused on how do we deliver things that are actually going to have real impact in the world. So it's been a core part of our mission from the very beginning.
So Recycli is a rapidly expanding technology company. We work with AI-powered robotics for the waste industry. This means that we're trying to automate the process of picking and sorting waste in recycling facilities. We were established in 2019, so we've grown from 2 people to I think 26, 27 at the moment in 2.5 years. To me, the circular economy is about protecting future generations and the planet, making sure that we can live as sustainably as possible and still benefit from growth. So Recycli started out through our CEO Victor, studying a PhD in advanced AI robotics. His background before that was in environmental engineering, where he met our CTO, Peter, and they actually started out in Peter's parents' shed with a little treadmill, and were running around at night stealing waste from people's bins on the curbs because they thought it would look strange to do it during the day. And since then they've developed our vision system, which scans and detects the waste as it passes through the plant and can categorise it into different material classes. It's then paired with the robotic sorting arm, which actually does the physical act of picking and sorting the waste.
Our company is 30 people strong now. We've been going for about 7 years. We've done over 300 projects. And those projects are remanufacturing furniture for offices. And so we have a design function as well that help clients to design a beautiful office full of circular economy furniture. For us, the circular economy is all about resource efficiency. So we started our thinking about the circular economy when we realised the enormous amount of waste that was occurring, and as well the huge amount of greenhouse gas emissions involved in furniture. So typically the 5-year cycle of a tenancy of an organisation within a space involves buying all new furniture at the start, and new is probably the wrong word, let's call it furniture from virgin resources, and then at the end of that tenancy they throw that all away and then again buy furniture from virgin resources. That means that there's a huge amount of product out there that's much of it very good quality, that's going to landfill and recycling. We thought there was a much better way to do things. Our journey into the circular economy started really right from the foundational principles. So we've been a big fan of the Ellen MacArthur Foundation and the circular economy approach. And so when we started the business, we said, let's build a business that's based on those principles right from the ground up, because it's very difficult to change direction once you've got a production system or a market. So we said we're going to build from the ground up. So we included, right from the start, used furniture as a core part of our business. We've then expanded, for instance, into waste materials that we build into our furniture. So recycled yogurt pots, for instance. There's some wonderful plastic boards that are highly durable because plastic, PET is very durable. What we've been able to do is integrate those into our furniture as well. So we're sort of thinking the circular economy both in the sort of circular reuse of furniture, but also bringing in waste materials to offset materials that are otherwise from virgin resources and typically go to landfill, like desktops and tabletops.
Buy Me Once was founded in 2016. It started as a blog finding the most long-lasting products on the planet, and it's grown into a proper e-commerce solution, finding, researching and then selling these very durable products to people both in the UK and the US. The thing about the circular economy is the beauty of it is the lack of waste. It's the idea that everything that comes from this earth, it can be used and reused again. And Buy Me Once works right at the very top of the circular economy, which sounds strange because it's a circle. But if we look at the kind of reduce, reuse, recycle, actually the most efficient thing we can do is to reduce, to stop the amount of things that we buy. And product longevity is one of the easiest way of doing this. So if you buy one thing that lasts a very long time, it stops you from buying several things. Well, I think we were always a circular economy right from the very beginning. It's not that I thought of it in that way. The way it came about was I was given a very long-lasting pot, and it made me realise how throwaway everything else I owned was. So purely for myself, I went looking for a company that sold long-lasting products. And when I didn't find one, I was like, well, this should exist as a kind of consumer solution. And it was only when I started to do research about the impact of product longevity on the environment that I realised this was something that people just weren't talking about. Everyone's focused on recycling. They're not actually talking about reducing the very top of that chain.
So BIME is a research and development-led company that was founded in 2016 to change perceptions and revolutionise the built environment by bringing nature's genius into the way that we operate and create materials and products. So we're developing bio-based materials, nature-based construction systems, as well as also a range of services that enable multinationals to decarbonise. I think for us, the circular economy is at the core of everything we do, and that's because we're very much driven by nature and natural systems and biological processes. And in nature, there is no waste, and the nutrient cycles inspire how we think of our production processes. So our basis is all about managing resources in a way that appreciates their value, but also increases their value over time, and demonstrates that we can meet all of our high performance needs from something like a construction product, but still ensure that there's social equity embedded in the product and that it's environmentally climate positive. So Biome was founded after a long research journey into looking at the waste streams in the UK and the impact that materials have on our health and on the planet in general. And one thing that became very clear is that the amount of extraction that's happening, the resource depletion that's taken place, was resulting in so many maybe unintended consequences and a kind of butterfly effect that's resulting on all kinds of environmental crises. And I think that resulted in us kind of ensuring that if we're ever going to develop a material or a product that's going to go into the construction industry, it would have to be circular and it would have to be completely regenerative from start to finish, considering the entire life cycle.
We are in the food and drink sector. We're a brewery producing beer. We are a SME, a team of 5 people, a turnover of 1.5 million. We were established in 2015, launched the business in 2016. Circular economy to me is a move away from a linear system in which we take from nature and waste at the end of the line, joining the circle so that we reduce our impact on nature and help to regenerate the system. I joined the circular economy with Toast because it made complete sense to me that we need action on the environmental issues that we face now, and the circular economy was a complete win-win way to do that. I founded Toast with circular economy at the very heart of everything that we do. So we work with the bakery industry, taking surplus bread and using that to replace some of the barley that we would otherwise use to produce beer, which also reduces our demand for virgin ingredient of barley, reducing the land, water and energy impact of that too. It's completely core to everything that we do and part of Toast's story.
Tech Take Back was formally formed in 2020 when we became registered as a company. We provide residents with an easy way to get rid of their unwanted electrical devices without those going to the waste stream. So the primary objective of ours is to reuse as many electrical items as possible. So we go out to the residents, collect from their doorstep, and it could be anything from a mobile phone, laptop, to kettles, toasters, household appliances, all that sort of stuff. We then take those items back to our operations facility where they're all checked into our systems. We provide data erasure services for anything that is holding data. And then once those items have been refurbished, we get them back out to people that can put them to good use through local charity partnerships. If any items can't be reused, then they are disassembled by our team and the individual components and materials are recycled.
I am a fashion technologist, so I have worked in apparel manufacturing in the East, in India, in Bangladesh and Middle East. I was manufacturing 10,000 trousers every day, and then I really enjoyed it though. It was very challenging. And then I was also working for retail. And then when I saw the whole circle of fashion, how broken it is, that we're overproducing fashion and we're under-consuming the clothing that we're making, that kind of hit me very hard. And because of that, I decided to start Sadatlan. So we started last year, soft tested it, went into the live market, started talking to the customers, started talking to everyone. What do you think about this? How do you want fashion to work for you? And that's how we came up with this. And right now we are 4 people and looking out to growing the team this year. It's kind of a funny story. So I was born to a recycler. Back in 90s, we didn't really understand what circular economy is, but we really saw the potential of it back in the 90s. And my dad was recycling waste paper. Basically, we collected all the paper from the city and shipped it to paper mills for recycling and turning it back to the pulp. We didn't know what circular economy is back then. And we saw that economically it really worked for us. It really took us out from the situation we were in, made us comfortable in life. And when I kind of started, I wanted to join fashion industry, and I knew that I wanted to get into recycling and getting the textiles up there, and because I really enjoyed it, my family is also into that. And when I saw that there's a concept of circular economy, that it's like a theoretical working process, and I've seen it all my life working, I wanted to add that to fashion as well. That's something that inspired me to start a circular fashion brand.
Rubymoon is a fashion and textiles company, and we make swim and activewear from used fishing nets, drift nets. We've got 2 employees, including myself right now, and we've been operating since 2010. So when we started Rubymoon, the term circular economy had not been coined yet. But when I drew the business model on a beer mat, this is how I drew it, with resources and money going round, because we're a social enterprise as well. So when I drew it, it was the money going round and also all the materials going round. So yes, we've had a circular model since the get-go really. And we've also coined something called our Circle of Impact, which we've implemented as a way to measure our impact both socially and environmentally, and it's something that we'll use forever, most likely. Really, our journey into circular economy started from the beginning, but when I found out about the circular economy and saw how it matched our values implicitly and everything that we were doing from a social and environmental impact, the circular economy should be embedded in every business right now, because we really need to move forward.
Revive Innovation started a couple of years ago. We currently now have 3 employees. I myself started a few months ago. We got a new employee 2 months ago, so we're still at the very beginning stage of a startup. We have our latest project, which is really exciting. It's called ReCD. So this is taking what we know as waste CDs and recycling them and repurposing them into our material ReCD. ReCD is a circular economy product. We get our CDs from businesses and individual donations, and through our unique process, we then turn this into beautiful new products. A circular economy means to me that when we input products into a system, we are utilising everything that they can give to us. So when that's a design of a product or a material, that it has a whole life cycle. There's no such thing as an end. There's no such thing as waste. Everything has a purpose or a reason. If we ourselves can't find a way to utilise it, then I also believe someone else might find a way. This means kind of maybe minimising our own waste, and anything that is left over from the production is utilised, whether that's heat maybe possibly or other materials. The reason I came into this industry is because I'm very keen on sustainability. I see obviously the world is in quite a serious situation at the minute, and it doesn't look like it's getting any better at all. We need to make drastic action, and I think circular economy is one of the ways which we can help to protect this planet.
We are enablers of reusability in the building materials sector, specifically tiles materials that apply to floors and walls. We started at a very early stage actually. We kind of fusion with Ellen MacArthur Foundation because we were with the same goals and ethical design principles. So we started in 2012, but then everything really was more consistent in 2014. So since then, I mean, we've been leading innovation forward into market, so to potentially transform part of the construction sector and decarbonize that. But if we don't do the right steps forward, doesn't matter how we call it. So circular economy is just the difference between that step in between being linear and circular, which will help a little bit recycling, but it's not enough. So it's a way to give to society and businesses a more conscious way that materials, raw materials and other materials that are already being used need to be found a ways how we can better use again, reuse and repurpose instead of discarding and throwing them to landfill as a waste. It's quite exciting, very passionate with what we do, and it's been a very beautiful journey because it has been so much support from the different stakeholders, from organizations like London, previously London Waste and Recycling Board, Rubymoon, Ellen MacArthur Foundation, that have been collaborating and recognizing our solutions. And also very important in innovation to get recognition from the different stakeholders. So we have also won quite a few awards, starting in the European Parliament in Brussels and here in England and others. So I think those are very key steps for innovation to be recognized and then enter into market strongly.
So we're based on the North Shore of Cornwall. There's 20 of us, predominantly product designers and marketeers. But we specialise and have done since our inception, which was 19 years ago. We just specialise in designing and making products from waste materials, but very specifically around the circular economy and circular design. So internally we have a rule of 100, 10, 100. So any product we design has to try and be 100% recycled content, at least longevity of around 10 years, and then 100% recyclable at the end of its life. And then we're structured in two very separate ways. So half of our business is around our own products. We design and make our own products and distribute them globally. And then the other half of the business is trying to help other brands become more circular. So primarily looking at a big corporate's waste stream. How do we turn that waste back into products that can go into their infrastructure? What inspired me, because we've been going a long, long time, you know, I think when I set the company up, I was working for Dyson. And I knew, technically, even back then, 20 years ago, that we could be making products out of recycled materials, but they weren't for probably economic reasons. So when I left and set my own company up, that was the big pillar for me back then, was to try and make products out of waste materials. So we've kind of been ahead of the curve, I guess, and it hasn't been some 20-year miracle vision. It was just, internally for me, I felt that was morally the right thing to do, and technically it could be done. So that's kind of where it came from. But what drives us in the circular economy is that we believe, and specifically circular design, is a really tangible, doable solution to solving a lot of the environmental problems. We passionately believe in it, and we promote it wherever we can.
So MyCore is a company started in 2019, and we develop materials and building systems for the construction industry. Growing up in Sicily, I've always been fascinated by the natural world, and I looked into all sorts of different waste streams that could be repurposed, starting with wine, agricultural waste, and all different sorts of feedstock that could be made into new materials. So then I became a researcher here in London, and I started developing new building materials. I started MyCore as a company that was going to make consumer products, products that were going to be made at a high price point, and they were just going to be beautiful to look at. At one point, I had a few construction companies emailing me and being like, "Is your product available for buildings?" And I was like, "Well, no, but are you interested?" So this has kick-started our journey into the construction industry, where we realized it was a bigger problem than we even thought at the beginning, and we design waste into our process at the very, very early stage, where now waste is our raw material essentially.
Yeah, Revolution Zero is an organisation in the healthcare sector. We were established in 2020, so that was in March 2020, so not a great time to be established, but and our focus has been on the displacement of single-use medical textiles with circular economy, reusable medical textiles. The circular economy, to us by definition, is producing a product and service proposition with all the associated support that results on no or minimal impact on the environment, at least targeting no impact on the environment, ideally stimulating the environment, so zero waste and zero carbon targets. It was an interesting journey because it was fueled by the coronavirus pandemic. We could see all sorts of terrible things happening with poor supply chain resilience, unethical business practices, variable quality, and then really unacceptable costs, both in monetary terms and also environmental terms.
So we started the business in 2005, and we started the business out of a response to discovering that London's damaged, decommissioned fire hoses were going to landfill. So we were basically problem first. We decided to bring that home, study it, try to understand what the next best possible life of this material would be, and that was luxury goods, which we then established basically a luxury goods manufacturing business. So we design, we manufacture, and we sell. We do everything. We're completely vertically integrated. There's about 20 of us in the team. We make everything ourselves, and what are our other metrics? We've successfully rescued 279 tons of material. For us, the term circular economy came after we started. So I think Ellen MacArthur was still sailing when we started the company. But to me, what it means is that all of the stress of the linear economy and worrying about what you can get and who you have to get it from goes away, because your whole life, your economic life and your personal life, is just about collaboration and partnership and using what you need at the time and making sure that you're just the custodian of whatever that might be. Even in the sense of nutrients, when I eat food, I'm just the temporary custodian of those nutrients. The natural world can happen back again at the end of life. And if the circular economy is actually functioning, then everything that is associated with what I wear and what I do and how I travel is just me carefully looking after those nutrients for a short period of time. So the stress of the linear economy and the guilt disappears. And wouldn't that be wonderful to just be able to fly around the world without a care because there was no fossil fuels involved? Because we started with a rescue mission at the core of what we did, I think we started circular from day one because we were taking a material that would otherwise go to landfill. And then we've built more and more circularity into what we do. So our leather project, which we started in 2010, which is, let's say, more when people started to talk about how to design for a circular economy, all of our leather goods are designed for deconstruction. So we use leather waste to begin with. We design pieces from components that you can put together and take apart and remake over time. And we also repair those goods. So the leather system that we have is inherently circular because it was designed that way. And then 50% of our profits go to charity because we believe in the circular flow of capital as well. And if we take it to the level that we're at now, we're treating our own sewage using only nature. We are generating our own renewable energy. We have designed and open sourced a solar powered microforge. Everything we do now is circular by design.